Hey fam, welcome back. I am MarshaunO, and I am here to talk to you guys today about the listening differences in each other, in your spouse, in your partner. As you know, men and women communicate completely differently. And so just because you are saying the words out of your mouth, you think that your spouse hears you. You think that your spouse understands you. You think that your spouse actually understands the words that are coming out of your mouth because you actually spoke them. But here's the reality. Lots of times when you talk to your spouse, when you talk to your partner, they have no idea what you're actually saying unless they know you really well. And this topic actually came from me hearing other couples just argue all the time, and they're arguing because they think, he or she thinks that just because they said this thing that their partner understood them and actually internalized what he or she was saying to him or to her. And so one of the things that we start to do, that you and I start to do with our partners, with our spouses, is that we make up all the stories in our head that he or she is attacking us as a person or you as a person, and not the issue or problem, not this situation, not the statement that you made. You are taking it personally, and you're thinking that when they did not hear you, or that what they actually heard was the correct thing, when in fact they heard something, they understood something completely different than what you actually said. And all of that comes from because we have different ways of internalizing what information is actually coming to us. The things that we find important, we take them in. The things that we actually don't find important, we don't take them in. Another reason I should say why this is occurring is because you and I'm guilty of this as well, but you are not giving your spouse or partner your full attention. Yes, you. Lots of times when your spouse is speaking with you, when he or she is talking with you, you're actually doing something else, whether it's playing with your phone, playing with the video game, searching the news feed for something. Doesn't matter what you're doing. What you are concurrently doing is not giving your spouse the respect and full attention that he or she actually needs. So in your mind, you get frustrated because you already said this stuff to him or to her, and guess what? He or she did not hear a word that you said, and maybe even accuse you of never even saying this thing to him or to her. So say, for instance, sometimes this actually happens in my relationship, and actually, you know what? Take you to a real example. The other day, this happened to me and my husband. So I like to go to different shows and events and everything. And I told you guys I'm trying to date my husband more this year. That's one of my I don't like to call it New Year's resolutions, but it's one of my yearly goals, right? Is to date him more. And so what I decided to do was to start showing him the different shows and venues that I wanted to go to, instead of just booking them on my own, right? And that actually made a huge difference, but that is a different story, right? So I showed him this thing, which we were taking our daughter to go and see Mickey Mouse and Friends on Ice, or Disney on Ice is actually what it's called. So we were taking our daughter to go see Disney on Ice. Well, when the date came, he was like, I don't remember saying yes to this. And I vividly remember that he was actually playing a video game at the time I was talking to him. Now, it didn't dawn on me to ask him to quit or, whatever, because he was like, yeah, let's go. Let's take her. Because I'm like, hey, tickets are on sale right now. If we want to go, I need to purchase them right now. Right? I'm running down the story to him. He's like, yeah. So what that yeah was him trying to shut me up. Like, get out of here. Yeah, I'm trying to play my game. So when the time came, he's like, I don't remember saying yes to this event. And long story short, we went and we had a great time. So that wasn't the issue at all. It was mainly when I was speaking, he act like he understood the words that was coming out of my mouth, but clearly he didn't. He never heard me. And then he accused me of not telling him about the event. And so because I remember things that are important to me, just like you do as well, I was like, hey, we were sitting over there on the couch and you were playing your game, and I sat right next to you, and I even showed you, and I said, hey, I need to purchase the tickets early because they're on sale, blah, blah, blah. You said, okay. Basically, I never even said this to him. But again, because it's important to me, I remember, and also because I was buying them, I remember the conversation because I was paying for this particular outing. Okay. So anywho, all I'm saying is just because you're speaking, just because your spouse or partner is saying, that don't mean they're listening to you. That don't mean that they're understanding the words that are coming out of your mouth. And so what you're doing, and what I started to do, but I caught myself, I started to catch an attitude and to go down the rabbit hole of starting to accuse and blame. I didn't do that. And I was just like, hey, babe, I did discuss it with you. We are going to be leaving at X amount of time to go and see this. And he had a wonderful time. We all did, but it was specifically about him because he was like, I don't remember. I don't know if I'm gonna go. He was like going through all of that. And so I just want to say he did go and we had a great time. But anyway, so you start to make up stories on why he didn't hear you or she didn't hear you, the statement that you said, and then you start to get pissed off. But you really are pissed off at the actual issue. But unfortunately, you have a tendency to take it out on him or out on her, and you make it personal. Another thing that you may do is you think that just because you assume that you assume he doesn't want you to be right. And I'm saying he, but of course it could be she. So you are assuming that when you're speaking to your husband, when you're speaking to your wife, you're speaking to your girlfriend or to your boyfriend, your fiance, you are assuming that you guys are going back and forth, or he didn't hear you, she didn't hear you because they want to be right, or maybe even you want to be right? So instead of you taking things in stride and saying, you know what? It's not going down like this. I'm not falling into this rabbit hole. I'm not going down this path of destruction. You go down the path of destruction. So sit back, relax, think before you speak, and just always remember that just because you say these things to your partner and to your spouse does not mean that they actually heard what you said, that they actually understood what you said, that they actually internalized what you said. And if you take a step back and remember, if you're able to regurgitate the story of what was actually happening, what was going on in that moment, they have a better chance of believing you, right? But just because you have said it, and I'm saying this over and over again on purpose, because a lot of us get hung up and get ticked off at our partners, get ticked off at our spouses, because I've said this. Why do I have to keep repeating myself? A lot of times we're not giving 100% of our attention to each other. And all of us can work on this. All of us can work on this, especially this device, this electronic device, this cell phone, this iPad, even laptop, computer, TV, whatever it is, we really need to stop so we can actually internalize what our spouse, what our partners are saying to us. So you need to slow it down. I need to slow it down. We all need to slow it down so we can actually hear what our partner, what our spouse is saying. And then we're not pissed off when they don't give us the correct answer or the answer that we think that they should have given us. Just slow down. That really can curb a lot of arguments. And a lot of the accusations that, hey, you did not tell me, you didn't say X, Y, and Z, or we never had this conversation. If we actually just stop, literally stop what you're doing, give that 100% undivided attention so you can actually hear what they're saying instead of so they can move on out the way, the accusations will go away. The blaming will go away, and the unnecessary arguments will fade away, never to return. I love you guys. If this is your very first time here and you like my rants like this, then go ahead and hit the red subscribe button or the icon with my beautiful face, okay? And I will see you guys in a future video.